7:30. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hops Geek News Crew Goes Supernatural, where we have been recapping, going through my journey, my first time, if you will. This is where I really just talk about my first time and what a spiritual experience this was and how I really just fell in love. The way Sam and Dean looked at me.
Dean has 3 first times because he has his first time. He has his first time after getting out of hell. And then he has his first time after he becomes a virgin again.
Well, this is my first time going through Supernatural. Yes, I watched it, started it over 2 years ago. We've done Supernatural panels at Comic Cons. We're only on season 12. This is going to be episodes 9 to 16. We are working our way through it. I'm sorry it's taking so long. We're trying to get there. We have something cooking
I've watched
for the 20th anniversary. Okay, I actually have kind of started a rewatch because I was rewatching these episodes. Fun fact. So
I told you it was inevitable.
It is. And maybe I'll listen to it while I'm on the couch with my laser eye surgery. And I can't technically look at screens, but if Jensen's sweet, sweet voice just caresses my ears so longingly, maybe it'll soothe my eye pain. But that's what we're doing today. Sorry. Hops Geek News, any social media platform, podcasting platform, go check us out. Follow us if this is your first time. Then I'm sorry, this is where you've had to pick up. But I promise you, we are a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, I'm drinking a Peeper from the Maine Beer Company. It is a pale ale, and it's delicious, and it's from Maine. And it feels like flannel because it felt like fall outside this week in Virginia.
Did not in Florida.
Well, it finally was in like the 80s, and there's a cool breeze, and the humidity isn't choking you out, which is great because the only time I want to be choked is when She-Hulk's big green thighs are around. Never mind. What are you drinking?
With who does she dance with?
Megan Thee Stallion.
There you go, Megan Thee Stallion.
Love Island's own Megan Thee Stallion. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Anyways. Oh, I was watching Peacemaker. It made me think of something from Peacemaker. Okay, so I am drinking a Nazareth, which already is supernatural themed. If you think Nazareth.
Oh my God, you're drinking from True?
What?
True Brewing, TRVE. Yeah.
And it's got a dragon on it. You might have given me this.
I did because I got 2 cans still.
Okay.
They're closed now. It's depressing.
Right. It is a fun can. And, obviously... Awesome. Yes, Supernatural has dragons, but they don't look like this, but it's still cool. And Nazareth, I think that was the episode that they were in. Oh gosh, I'm probably gonna get it wrong. I want to say when Sammy broke Lucifer out of hell.
Oh, maybe.
I gotta look into that. Don't quote me. Well, but they are in Nazareth at some point.
Exciting. Yeah. So episode 9, First Blood. You might know it from Rambo, but the boys have been arrested for trying to kidnap the president. We kick off with Mary at a diner. Cass is calling her. Cut to the Secret Service people in a desk full of evidence against them, including Dean's blue steel mugshot. Now, they know all about the FBI case and everything. The boys are sent to a prison all by themselves, middle of nowhere. Some might call it Alligator Alcatraz. Who knows? Demon Alcatraz? I don't know. Anyways, fuck that prison. I hope it burns down without the people inside of it. Only the guards. The main dude is a dick, but thank God he thinks he's a good guy. An anti-terrorism guy is brought in, which of course does nothing. They're left in solitude, a fate worse than hell for them, especially Dean. Cut to Mick on some weird typewriter that he uses to communicate with the Men of Letters. He's trying to talk to the American hunters. He's getting nowhere fast. Now, back to Mary and Cass, who are now at the bunker. She blames Cass for losing the boys. Really, Mary?
I hate this so
much. This is where it starts to turn for me, for Mary.
And Cass just takes it.
This is where she really becomes hateable, like I said. Don't yell at Cass, number one.
Why
number
are you
two,
blaming him? Like, you abandoned them way before he ever did.
Cass reaches out to Crowley, but even his souls inside the government aren't privy to where the boys are. We learn that they've been gone for over 6 weeks, a time Cass has down to the exact second. Castiel tries to work a vampire case, never found the monster, a case that he knows the boys would have solved and saved people, to which all of a sudden the boys drop dead. Just kidding, they're awake now. No clue where they are, but they escape into the woods. Dean finds a phone and calls Cass while Sam finds a map and tells him where to meet them. They escape the G-Men, and Mary and Cass find the boys with the help of some British men and letters equipment. The boys leave everybody alive, to which Ketch fixes that problem and enter Billy. She helped them escape,
Oh,
and they made a deal to die and come back one more time. But come midnight, a Winchester has to die. Mary goes to sacrifice herself, but Cass kills Billy instead. Because this sad little doomed world needs as many Winchesters as it can get, we end with Mick talking to Mary. Yes. So, first of all, love Cass for this, but also hate Cass for this. Let Mary die again, okay?
Well, he didn't know that he was going to be the one paying the ultimate price to Billy in season 15. But also, what I don't get, like, were the boys praying to Cass during this? Were they letting Cass know, hey, we're alive, we don't know where we are? And like, couldn't they have
Yeah.
done, I feel like it would have been easier for them to somehow cut open their skin, carve one little thing in the rib cage, which would then make it so that Cass would be able to find them because they wouldn't have the warding on the rib cage anymore. And then voila, problem solved. They wouldn't have had to reach out to Billy.
I guess you're right. Yeah. But this is really when Billy, she's never really been on their side, but this was essentially her
No,
final,
she's not a fan.
hey, no BS this time. One of y'all is coming with me at the end of all this because I'm sick and tired of the Winchesters. And for honestly, my first time through watching this, I was ready for Mary to go after she was essentially blaming Cass. And not that I was excited that she was ever back, but at this point, I didn't have any ill will. But this episode really set the tone for me, and I wasn't down for Mary. She should have gone, but Cass sets the beginning of his end and takes care of Billy, of course. So that's what I got. The line about being trapped with the Winchesters is a nod to Rambo. Obviously, First Blood is named after this. When Crowley quotes Lawrence Tured saying, "Ah, pity the fool!" Lawrence is Mr. T. Obviously, he's referring to whomever took the boys.
I love
And
that he says that, though, like, and not Mr. T.
yeah, Dean's failure to communicate line is from Cool Hand Luke, also in Guns N' Roses' song. Very on trend of the show. It looks like what we have here is a failure to communicate. I do love the pop culture references, man. I feel like I would love to hang out with these boys, just not while we're on a hunt. All right, I don't know that I'm built for that. Although
I
it would
just,
be really cool killing a vampire as long as I don't die and end up like Jody.
like, I just feel like quoting pop culture is like so the norm with so many people that it just makes sense. It's like if you're not quoting
Well,
pop culture, it seems odd.
that, for example, when they quote some pop culture in a show and somebody's like, "What are you talking about?" I feel like that's almost weird. Although I will say there's a lot of younger generation who just don't watch movies and shows and stuff like that, so they don't get a lot of my pop culture references. So maybe it's on brand, but
Well, I mean, there are generational pop culture references, and there are references in this show that go over my head because it's like,
well, that's fair. Some things I just feel like for us, for our generation, not to get all boomer over here, but we were so used to things being on TV all the time that we would just hear them and know what it's from without maybe having to fully see it, or you just kind of grew up with these things, whereas streaming services have kind of changed that. But
right,
I
more
digress.
choice in what you watch. No, that's
I
true. But I
digress.
also think it depends on if you had older siblings or how old your parents were, what your parents decided to expose you to. Like, I feel like Josh has more pop culture references that are older because he was the youngest, whereas I was the
Yeah.
oldest.
I was the
And
oldest
like,
too. Yeah.
I feel like you have a surprisingly amount of pop culture knowledge
I'm
from before your time, though.
cultured.
It's
Because
like there
I
is, and
love this
Josh has
stuff,
said that too.
man.
He's like, I didn't expect Matt to know that. I'm like, Matt knows like more shit from the 80s than I do. And I was actually
I
alive in
love
the
this.
80s and you
It's
weren't.
because I love this stuff. Okay. You know what? I can hold my own just about anytime, anywhere.
You know who else
Don't count me
who
out.
can hold her own even up against angels? Lily
Lily,
Sunder.
tell us about Lily Sunder.
I'll tell you, she has some regrets.
You tell me all about her raggerts.
So, episode 10, Lily Sunder has some regrets. We're in an arcade with someone playing a game while the employee is trying to close up. He takes out the garbage, and of course, someone comes in with an eye patch and an angel blade, referring to this vessel by their angel name, Benjamin. However, it is a woman playing the video game. Right before Eye Patch Lady kills him, he prays to his other angel friends, and what I think he prays in Enochian. Cass being one of them. Cut to the bunker, and Dean is mad at Cass for killing Billy because he's worried about these cosmic ramifications she mentioned. Cass says he's off after an old angel friend sent out that called for help. The boys decide to tag along, even though Dean is none too pleased with Cass, and they're arguing like an old married couple. While in Baby, Dean and Cass continue to argue like an old married couple, while Sam tries to get info about what's actually going on with the case that Cass, or with the angel friends that Cass is talking about. So Cass then explains that Benjamin and his vessel, who was a woman, were friends. They learn that Benjamin is dead, but then the eye patch lady says, Castiel. Cass meets up with Isham and Mirabelle, two other angels. They're in their vessels from decades ago, and they're bitter they lost their wings because of Cass. Dean decides to crash this meeting, with Sam following. Isham is, to quote Dean, quote, super dick. But Cass says he'll deal with it, and he will find out who killed Benjamin. Suddenly, Mirabelle is dead. What? She literally just walks out of the cafe, and she's
What
suddenly
the
dead. So we
heck?
have another angel down. Eye Patch Lady then nicks Isham, who tries to angel kill / smite her. However, it does not work, which he seems very confused about. So Castiel comes out and he recognizes this woman with the eye patch. The boys show up and Patches takes off. Cass catches up the boys with a flashback. So we now see the angels in all the vessels that we see them in today. However, Cass is in a female vessel, and it is very much so not any present day, as they are all in old-timey clothes. Okay, so in this flashback, we see the angels. Hold on. We see Isham
No, we don't.
explain. No, we do see the angels. We see all the angels, and we see Cass is in. He's in the female vessel. He's not in Jimmy Novak. So Isham explains to them in the past there's an angel and a quote primate who made a baby, which would be called a Nephilim, and Nephilims must be destroyed because they can kill entire worlds. And of course, this is all foreshadowing to Jack, and I love it so much because Jack does the opposite of destroying entire worlds. So I love it. Okay, so so the Nephilim has to be destroyed, of course, naturally. Let's go kill the child. Who
Of
doesn't want to do
course.
that?
Always
So this
does.
child belongs to Patches, aka Lily Sunder. She wants to kill all the angels who are part of harming her child, because what mother wouldn't? We then learned that the child was actually just human, and she was friends with the other angel, Akabel, who was the first one they killed. She did not have a baby with him. They were just friends. However, Isham actually fell in love with Lily and was pissed that she didn't reciprocate his love. She broke his heart, so he decided to break hers by killing her child. Lily is
Jeez.
only now hunting them because they can't escape quick without wings. So she had to deal with them with their quick escapes for decades, if not over a century. Dean catches Cass up, who is very concerned to learn that the kid was human. Isham and Cass then fight. Dean goes to like an angel warding to like get Isham out of there, but Cass is in rough shape, and Isham tells him like, you do that now, like Cass is gonna get smeared against the wall. So of
Oh.
course Dean doesn't, because he doesn't want to hurt Cass. So enter Lily. As she's fighting Isham, Cass actually summons all the energy he has and stabs Isham in the back with the angel blade. Lily learns that Castiel did not know. However, he tells her ignorance is not an excuse and she's welcome to kill him. But she decides to walk away, and Dean seems to forgive Cass in that moment. We end with Dean explaining that these kind of decisions, much like Billy, tend to bite them in the ass.
Man, that was quite the episode. I feel like there's a lot that happens in this episode. Jeez, which we actually get to meet Isham in this, which is cool. And according to your fun facts, it's actually a class of angels that were said to be close to mortals. I think that's pretty rad. And then One-Eyed Willie is a Goonies reference. Come on, man, if you didn't know that one. But yeah, no, this has.
Let's
I
go
like
back to
that
generation. Find a Gen Z who
Lily.
does know that.
Very good point. I enjoy that Lily ends up walking away, and there's a lot of forgiveness in the end of this, because I think the past Winchesters would have just killed anybody and everyone and just stayed mad for episodes. But you know, you're right though.
I
The
don't know that they ever would
foreshadowing.
have killed somebody killing angels. They were never like, other than Cass
I guess you're right. You're
and
right.
like Anna, but even after Anna became an angel, like they were really only supportive
I
of Anna
mean,
when she was a human.
Lily wasn't totally in the wrong at the same time. Almost, I
No,
feel
she wasn't
like,
wrong at all.
and so that was a
I
really
mean,
good
if she
point
had
too.
killed Cass, she would have become a villain. But
Right.
because she didn't kill Cass, I feel like she was never a
Which
villain. And
I
this isn't the
liked
last we
in
see
this.
her.
No, it's not. And I liked that they played on that moral dilemma with, she was so close to that edge that one bad day, not to, Batman, for example. The reason why he doesn't kill Joker is because all it takes is that one bad day to slippery slope, and then you fall into the same cycle, right? Even though I get it, she was
I
killing
just
angels.
rewatched the scene with Peacemaker where he's fighting with a neighbor about he doesn't have villains because his villains are 6 feet under. How many people has Batman let die by not killing his villains?
Exactly, which is another really good point. But I do enjoy that there's redemption for her. She kind of sees it. There's redemption for everybody, and then we do get that bit of foreshadowing at the end, which is Dean saying, "Hey, man, not everything always ends out great for us. Uh, yikes!" And we'll see where that goes. Which, as we know in the
But
final,
yeah, this was something that happened over a century ago that came back to bite them in the ass when
yeah,
Cass thought he was doing the right thing. So I feel like
what goes
that's
around comes around eventually, whether it takes a
yeah,
century or a day.
right. Or 4 seasons, 3 seasons. I'm bad at math.
Yeah. So, episode 11 regarding Dean. We start with someone who is running in the woods, and it's Dean who's chasing him. Interesting. It's a witch, and he does something to Dean and knocks him out. This episode is fun. I'll tell you that much. Dean
It's
wakes up the
so
next
fun and
morning
sad.
next to a bunny who he has no idea where he is, but manages to call Sam from a stranger's phone and has him meet him at the breakfast spot or at a breakfast spot. He tells Sam that he has no idea what happened. Sam then mentions Kelly, and Dean is confused and forgot about the devil baby mama drama for a minute. Some girl walks up, slaps him, to which he says, "Epic night." Off to the morgue to work on the case. The dead guy has a hex bag on him. Witches. Dean forgets how to drive. Sam just keeps thinking he's hungover until Dean asks, "Who's Dean?" Desperate, Sam calls Rowena, "My girl." Who would have thought that? Who would have thought? Rowena tells him he may need to kill the witch who cast the spell, so they decide to try and retrace Dean's tracks from yesterday. They then run into the girl who slapped him. Sam tells her that Dean may have been roofied, and she tells him, first of all, she's like, "Oh my God, did I take advantage of you?" She tells him that he rode Larry the Bull. He was amazing at it, to which Sam rolls his eyes. She then says that he runs off, suddenly believes he was roofied, ask about the cameras, and that's when they see a witch. Dean forgets monsters are even real while Sam is getting closer. Cut to the other witches who find the dead witch that cursed Dean. Rowena shows up to help. Dean doesn't even know who she is either. Dean just doesn't know anything in this episode. It's awesome.
It's just precious.
As Dean watches Scooby Doo, Rowena and Sam figure out who the witches are. She knows who they are, warns Sam and Sam that Dean will eventually forget how to swallow, breathe, etc. We get the heartbreaking monologue in the bathroom as Dean loses himself. Yeah, that one actually is pretty sad. Rowena says they need to find the spell book. It's really sad because "You are Dean. I'm Dean Winchester. I am Dean Winchester," and he
And he's like, "Your
slowly.
best friend's Castiel." He's like, yeah. He's
It
like,
is sad, man.
yeah.
You're right. You're right. It's all
It's
coming back
beautifully
to
sad.
me. We get, the heartbreaking. Rowena says they need to find the spell book. Sam then picks up on her true MO. However, he still needs the help. Sam goes to get the witches as Rowena babysits Dean and gets ready to cast a spell. With Rowena on the phone, she hears Sam getting attacked. Dean wakes up in his car with notes from Rowena on what to do.
Who
As they
doesn't
have
forget how to
Rowena
read?
Yeah, as they have Rowena now pinned too, Dean comes in and starts to blast. Anyways, I just started blasting, eventually saving the day, and to which Rowena fixes him. We wrap up with a montage of the episode mixed with Dean riding Larry the Bull. So it has a happy ending, but
It has a
that is a
fantastic
very
ending.
I loved this because I like when they lean into Goofy, and so seeing Jensen be the Goofy where Sam has to play it more straight and take over, I like that because sometimes, as you see, Sam's the one that gets knocked out or something happens to Sam. How many times is Sam getting something and Dean saving the day?
Right. Well, and
This
he's a little
is,
brother, so he's got to be taken care of.
yeah. In this case, now it's Sam getting a chance to shine and save the day while Dean's forgetting. He has, the funny moments with the bartender and, "Oh my God, did I take advantage of you?" And he's like, "Oh no,
He's
no."
like, oh, well, no, he kind of plays it like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, and that was, oh, the first time I've gotten action in how long, and I don't even remember it. And so it was good stuff, in a happy ending. And again, Rowena obviously always has nefarious purposes,
hmm Oh,
but
Rowena. But we
yes,
got some great moments. I like when he's watching the security camera and Dean goes, "It's like watching myself on Netflix," because I'm literally watching it on Netflix while I'm watching him watch himself
yeah.
on Netflix. And I love the scene when he's like, "Our best friend's an angel." What? Like,
And because he doesn't remember anything at all, and it's so great that he forgets that monsters are real, and you almost wish that Dean could stay that innocent for a while, because what could be life without having to just go through this all the time, and he gets a glimpse of that. and obviously what ends up happening and just Dean's life in general.
He
For
even
a
says
moment,
that.
it is
Yeah.
beautiful. It is beautiful of he gets that reprieve for just a
Yeah.
moment at least.
Yeah, it's like getting drunk. But he's a sad drunk, so I guess it's not like getting drunk. But
That
that's a
is,
terrible
yeah.
that sounds like something an alcoholic would say.
Yeah. He's anyways, all right.
But whenever Dean gets drunk, he just gets sad, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
sad.
I mean, the dude has so much there's not even a therapist years of therapy might not even fix what Dean Winchester has gone through in life. I
I
don't know.
really feel like they should have a therapist on call that, like, when they save somebody, they're like, "Here's a card, who person who knows
That
monsters are
would have
real,"
been
like,
pretty cool.
I mean, if
How
because
many
all
people
these
did they leave behind
with
that just had traumatic
PTSD.
experience? Yeah.
100%, and you even see
Mhm.
that in the episode where Crowley starts killing the people they saved, and, like, the one guy who they saved from the Wendigo, he's like, "There's a Wendigo outside. I knew that the Wendigo was gonna come back." It wasn't
Yeah,
a Wendigo,
that's
I think it was a
true.
hellhound or a demon or
Uh,
something, but
that would have added a lot. If they ever bring this back, I kinda hope they add that element into it a little bit maybe. That would be really cool, but
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that I could see Garth setting that up. Like, we
Oh, that would
should
be
have
amazing. What if Garth becomes a therapist for people who have
well, he's already a dentist, and he has to do all the werewolf teeth, so I don't know if he has
yeah,
time to be a therapist
okay,
too, but
okay,
maybe.
you're right.
Maybe Bess could become a
Ooh, what if
therapist.
we're bringing since we're Dynamite's bringing Supernatural comics back, what if we had a spinoff about that? I don't know. I'm just
Recovered monster survivors in therapy.
yeah, but there's still, like, monsters out there. I don't know, like, that would be cool. I don't know, man, alright, it's just an idea. I'm spitballing here. This is a vision board, and I'm just
Right.
throwing things at it.
It's like I still check my closet and under my bed every night before I go to bed, and therapist is like, "Well, you probably should. Monsters are real."
But to
So I
be
don't know how
fair,
helpful
you
the
did get
therapy
attacked
would
by
actually
vampires,
be.
so
Right.
speaking of which, Oliver explained the entire Five Nights at Freddy lore to me today, and I'm like, brother, where did you hear all of this? Game Theory? I don't know what that is. It's on Amazon Prime. If you
I
don't know
have
what
no
Five
idea.
Nights at Freddy is, it's pretty
I know
dark
of
stuff.
it, but I
It's
don't know about
essentially
it. I know
like
wasn't Matthew Lillard was in it?
well, that's the movie, but like the game itself is pretty freaking dark, and it's talking
Oh, I didn't
about
even
some
know it was a
guy who
game.
got sent to hell, and there's like little kids getting killed, and
Oh,
it's
so it's
about
like Supernatural.
like pedophiles killing, like getting killed.
Oh.
Like, it's pretty fucked up, man. All right,
Whoa.
I'm sorry, it is not
I
a
thought it
kid.
was for kids.
No, I think it's like kids play this game, but it is not a kid game. And he's
Yikes.
telling me this lore, and I'm in my head. I'm like,
Does
hey,
he know what a
well,
pedophile even is?
he was like, yeah, he killed this daughter who was 3 years old. I'm just like,
Oh, shit. Again,
uh,
also this I feel like that kind of stuff does happen in Supernatural.
and so basically he comes to me, he's like, can we get me Five Nights at I was like, hell no. Absolutely not. My guy. First and foremost, you're afraid of the wind. So let alone playing Five Nights at Freddy's. You are 9 years old. You may be able to stay at home alone for like an hour. You may be able to cook some foods, but you are not at the stage of Five Nights at Freddy yet. Wait until you're like 13 years old, my guy. Okay? No, absolutely not. I gotta draw the line somewhere.
Braille asked if she could watch The Boys. I laughed at her. I'm like, "No, you have to be 30." And she's like, "30?"
Granted, I did let him, the 8-year-old. Well, this is different. So I always bring this up whenever Carrie was initially. I don't know that he can watch Happy Gilmore. I'm like, dude, you took him to Deadpool and Wolverine. You can't watch Happy. Well, but in this case, Deadpool and Wolverine is just a bunch of cussing and killing versus like some really dark,
Well,
creepy stuff as
they
that
make
Five Nights at
some
Freddy would be.
jokes that you hope go over their head. Like, okay, so what was Braille watching
I
earlier?
mean, even Shrek makes those jokes. To be fair,
Braille was watching White Chicks. And Braille's 13. But there was one
Oh
scene
yeah,
she
yeah,
thought
yeah.
was really funny, and I'm like, "Braille, that's inappropriate." And she's like, "Why is it inappropriate?" And I was like, "Oh, good. She doesn't get why it's inappropriate."
Like, thank God. Yeah. See, she may be a teenager now, but she doesn't know everything yet,
No, they're still all
and it's
living
kind of
in
good. But anyways,
right.
back to where were we? Are we on episode 12
Stuck
yet?
in the middle with
All right.
you.
Oh, we're back with Ketch. We're back with Ketch. He just wants to be told a story. Tell me a story. The boys, Cass and Mary, as well as another hunter who is ordering food, and the server calls Cass handsome. They plan their hunt on a demon. This new hunter claims he was just passing through when he noticed some demon signs. He called Mary for help. They go from flirting with the waitress cut straight to getting their asses kicked. Cass has been stabbed, asking where are the boys. Mary carries him. The new hunter
What's
then
happening
dies.
right now? Why are you
I don't know.
talking like this?
I don't know. I felt like you're an old Western or something. I don't know. Anyways, we come back to the diner right before the diner. They're setting up the trap for the demon. The demon comes back early. I hate when my parents return early. He's got yellow eyes, which of course freaks Mary out. Ugh, if
Get
only there
over
was
it, bitch.
more demons then show up. Sam says he's got this, and Dean jumps over the porch, takes off for absolutely no good reason, other than to catch a flight and see his twins be born. We see Cass has been stabbed with a special weapon to make the death of an angel slow and painful. Plot twist. We
It
continue
was
to go
made
back
for
and forth.
Lucifer.
Yes, and learn that the men of letters sent them there to get the colt. Mary doesn't tell the boys or Cass this, though. As Cass is dying, Crowley shows up, and of course, Mary's rude to him because, God forbid, Mary is nice to anybody. Nevertheless, Crowley saves the day despite the fact that the demons were his own demons. Crowley then asks if they knew who Ramiel is. Cass says that he's a prince of hell. They learn princes of hell are the first generation of demons that were turned by Lucifer. Azazel was one of them, and cut to 6 years
Hence
ago, the yellow eyes. Crowley goes to Ramiel to take over hell. We learn that Cassiel was stabbed with Michael's lance, which Crowley gives him. It was designed to kill Lucifer. He then tells Crowley the magic is all in the rune work, the craftsmanship. He also gives Ramiel the cult as well. He doesn't want it, or Ramiel doesn't want hell, so Crowley
but
can
I
have it.
don't want it. He John
Yeah,
Snowed him.
pretty much. The leftover princes, geez, I can read, just want to be left alone. Dean tells Crowley to help or to get out. Crowley leaves, but it's to help. Crowley asks what he can do to stay out of the barn and away from the boys, Mary and Cass. He assures
Yes, it's Ramiel. That was my bad.
Ramiel that the Winchesters always come through. He does. Cass says his goodbyes, tells them all to leave. Dean refuses to leave, as does Sam. We don't leave the family behind, they say, as they prepare for him to
Like
come back.
Ohana.
Crowley gets thrown into the barn, which is funny. Ramiel is pissed at this point because Mary stole from him, demands his stuff back or he's going to kill them all. Mary is a
She
just
keeps her mouth
garbage.
shut instead of being like, "Here you go." She
Here
keeps
you
her
go.
mouth
No,
shut.
she stays quiet. He attacks. Sam then manages to stab him with the lance. He dies quickly. The demons all die quick as well, and the angels slow. Cass is oozing black,
It's
gross.
really gross.
Ooh, it is really gross. I wonder what they put in his mouth to have him oozing that stuff out.
It's a good
Because
question.
it was gross, man.
Like uncooked cake batter.
This is
I don't
when
know.
Crowley gets up, he breaks the lance, and again reminds them it's all in the rune work. He could have kept it as a
You're
weapon,
making
but
me think of
instead,
Agatha.
he is all in the rune work. He saves Cass. They all stand there shocked, gasp. Crowley says, "Okay, bye." We see Mary give the colt to Ketch because she is a garbage human being, to which she then threatens Ketch because of bad intel. He's clearly a little bit impressed. He's kind of into it. He's kind of into her,
Because at first he's like, "Well, we didn't know," da 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 da, and she like goes off on him, and he's like, "Okay, oh damn, yeah, no,
Yeah.
you make a good point."
Mary says that her father used to tell stories of the cult. Cut then to Crowley demanding his demons find the gun. And then we see Lucifer in a cage singing while Crowley pours himself a drink. This was awesome for Crowley. First of all, I want to talk about the good real quick because I loved
Okay.
Crowley.
No, it was a
Crowley,
fantastic episode.
this
Fantastic episode.
I had already loved Crowley at this point, but this really solidified it for me when I love his relationship with Cass. It might be, aside from Dean and Sam, my favorite relationship in this entire show because they're reluctant together. But if we had gotten some sort of give me a season spin-off show of Crowley and Cass just doing stuff
So like a
together.
cop spin-off show. They even like make
Yes,
comments, yeah, about it. Yeah. Are you still
it
in your
would have
buddy
been
cop
so
show?
good because those two, they're so snarky with each other. And despite everything, Crowley could have taken this lance and just, fucked off essentially, right? Instead,
Could have killed Lucifer. I do wonder if he could kill Lucifer with it, or if an archangel needed to be holding it to kill Lucifer with it.
good point. I was kind of curious about that myself. Nonetheless,
Why
at the end of
didn't
the
they
day,
look for that years ago when they were trying to take care of Lucifer?
yeah, and they
But
found
maybe
this
it's like an
artifact.
archangel blade. I think only works with archangel powers if an archangel has it. There's something along that when in the future that comes
I'm
up.
sure they would have come up with something, I'm sure, to kind of hand wave why. But the fact that
We need
Crowley
Jeremy Adams
chooses
to
to
fix it.
save, yeah. Hey, Jeremy, can you explain this to us? Because I
We need
feel like
another
he
episode of
recommended this.
Supernatural so you can fill in this hole.
Yeah. But the fact that Crowley saves Cass, I loved because at the end of the day, they've
He likes
bonded
feathers
together
too.
over their he doesn't Crowley in this even mention that he kind of has an affinity for the Winchesters in this episode, is where
So
he kind of first admits it almost.
he tells, I feel like he said it before. He tells Ramiel, he's like, "Oh, you're soft for these guys," and he's like,
That's what
"Every
it
time
was.
something's happening, they manage to save the day, and they
Because he brings
become
up the
beneficiaries."
apocalypse and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like he has the demons say that to him and everything, and that he always tells everybody, like even to Rowena, that was an issue when Rowena first showed up. He's like, "They always manage to come through, and it benefits me."
Yeah.
But then he does mention when Cass is dying, he's like, "I was becoming fond of feathers too," something along those lines.
And that's what I just love it so much, man. It is that's why I love Crowley, because there's a lot of depth to his character.
Yeah.
Really beyond just he's the king of hell. He's that hard exterior, but deep down, he's been around for the longest of times with
I
these
mean, he
guys.
was worth at least what, 3 pigs?
At least
He
three
was a
pigs.
child who could juggle.
I think that's the next episode or something like that, right? Where anyways,
It
let me
might
say
be, I don't
it.
know.
But yeah, no, fun fikes. Yeah. Fun facts, directed by Richard Spite Jr. The episode is one long nod to the movie Reservoir Dogs. Highly
Fantastic
recommend.
movie. Mr. Pink.
Yes,
Fantastic
I
movie.
highly recommend Reservoir Dogs if you've never seen it. The music, the story told out of order, different perspectives. Dean's quoting the movie actually. Okay, Ramblers, let's get rambling. The title is a song that was in the movie. At the end of the episode, Lucifer is singing the theme from the 1957 show Colt 45 or Colt Cousins. This was the episode the Colt showed back up in. And then Jensen at one point jumps over the porch and is gone because he had to fly home because his twins were about to be born. I love that.
Yeah, it's funny. So they had, and I've heard a story from him at like a convention or something. Like he didn't have his passport with him, and he had to like smooth talk the person, and like because he goes back and forth so much, I guess they like know him. But you can probably, I'm sure you can YouTube it. But yeah, he made it in the nick of time. I do wonder though, because she was having like twins and everything. I was like, yeah, probably should have been there sooner. Like, did you wait for it? Like twins, I feel like they're very careful and they know they're going to come early, and like I don't know, but he made it. So that's
Yeah.
good. But in the scene, it doesn't make sense for Jensen to just jump over the porch. Sam's just like, I got this. So clearly they filmed out of order. But I also thought it was funny seeing Cass at the beginning of the episode with the waitress. And
Yeah.
they're like, when do you get off? And she's like, whenever I can, because Mary was so like irritated because she's seeing these sons who were 4 and 6 months the last time
Always
she saw them.
hitting on, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, talking very whatever with the server, and she's like, "Okay, guys, let's get back on tracks." But I thought it was
Meanwhile,
so
she's over here
fun.
schmoozing with the freaking enemy the whole time.
Yeah, but you don't want to hear your kids talk like that.
Yeah, well, I don't want to know that my mom was schmoozing. You
But
were
it was
schmoozing with
also,
everybody.
I feel like there's so much they don't catch Mary up on. Like Mary has no idea that John spent so long looking for this cult, that John is the one that
Yeah.
found the cult, that they used the cult to kill Azazel. Like they got their revenge for her with this cult, and now she's keeping it a secret from the boys to get it back to the Men of Letters. It's like the Men of Letters
Very,
don't deserve that cult.
yeah. You're right. You're 100% right. They leave her out of a lot, but at the same time, I hate Mary, so my bias says, good. You didn't need to know.
I wonder if Mary knows about Ruby. Probably not.
Anyways, why don't you well, she had to. She must have gone to their wedding, duh. Go
All
ahead
right.
and go into Family Feud.
So, some random lady dies bloody in her bed. No clue about Kelly right now. And Mary secretly is working with Ketch, killing monsters. So, they're working a case. We learn Crowley perverted the case to have Lucifer in his hands for revenge. And they did something to Nick so his vessel could actually be solid. Because if you remember back in the day when Lucifer was inside Nick, Nick was falling apart. And they're like, he must be drinking gallons of demon blood to just sustain that
Yeah,
vessel.
that's
That's why
right.
he needed Sam, because Sam was the
Ew,
only
skin was
vessel.
all ugh.
Yes. So they did something to Nick. So now Nick is a solid vessel. So back to the case. We have another weird death. And now the boys are at a museum, and a new exhibit has just been unboxed, and it is a shipwreck. So this shipwreck exhibit is connected to these random bloody lady who died at the beginning. So Dean remembers that Crowley's kid, Gavin, was on the ship that sunk, and this is the ship that is on display. This is Gavin, who they brought into the future, and Crowley let him escape his fate and live in the present, which was actually very
Yes.
human and sweet of Crowley. It, of
He's got a
course,
sweet
had
softy.
a ripple effect or a butterfly effect. So they call
Yeah.
Crowley to see where Gavin is. Crowley, having learned that Kelly is still pregnant, is none too pleased with them and tells them nothing. So they use Rowena to find Gavin, and Rowena and Gavin actually get to meet. They have Gavin look at the shipwrecked book of stuff to see what was actually familiar to him, and he spots a locket. It was the one he bought for his girlfriend. She wanted to get on the ship with him. Of course, Abaddon shows up and takes Gavin before he can get on the ship, but his girlfriend apparently still smuggled herself on board. They look for the locket, and it is, of course, missing from the exhibit. They find out who the last teacher was that toured the exhibit, and they save her just in the nick of the time, as they often do. And then they have Gavin try to call for his ghost girlfriend. She shows up and tells Gavin that while on the boat, and they don't use the dark terms, but this is dark. She basically says
It
she
is,
was
yeah.
very much so taken advantage of, and the teacher aboard blamed her for what happened and said, like, "Oh, you were flirting with them, you were asking for it." So she's going around killing the teachers. So that's why these women who are dying are teachers. It's like Supernatural does a really good job of going dark while still keeping it CW
They
ish.
do, yeah. It's probably my
But I
favorite
mean,
thing,
if
as I
like they
say
don't
every episode.
show these scenes, but if you truly think about what happened, it's like, oh
It gets, I
fuck.
mean, especially with, like, I know they have to, the opening scenes tend to cut to some blood splatter, but if you were to actually show that, my God, how
Yeah.
violent.
This is why we need Supernatural to come back on like HBO Max or Prime
Yes,
or something.
Prime. Yeah.
So the boys tell Gavin, because Gavin is nothing but a sweetheart. He is not like his father or his grandmother. They tell him, hey, these people can actually come back if you go back to where Abaddon took you from. You can fix time. Um, so Gavin says he really feels alone here in present. And he's about ready to do it. And then enter Crowley, and Crowley's pissed. But
Yeah.
he's not pissed for the normal reasons Crowley's pissed. He's pissed because they're about to send his son to death. But Gavin wants to do the right thing.
And he's
Rowena,
done everything for the boys, but everyone, they're about to send his son, which
yeah,
does not please the man.
no. Rowena then tells Crowley she helped Gavin go back and die as revenge for Oscar having to die when they took the mark off of Dean. If you remember, this was the random kid that
Yeah.
Rowena cared more about than Crowley. Now, we see Kelly, who is now very pregnant. An angel pretending to be a server starts talking to her. Dagon, the prince of hell, however, saves her because this server was actually an angel who wanted to kill her, and then tells Kelly that she will keep her and her son safe. Oh my goodness, amazing. Meanwhile, this case has been solved. Mary shows up and tells the boys she's been working with the British men of letters, and the boys are pissed.
We're all mad. All right. We're all mad at this point.
It's true. Our only fun fact is Gavin MacLeod, who is Crowley's son, is the same name of the actor who played Captain Steubing on The Love Boat. I don't even know if I'm singing. Is that The Love Boat? The Love Boat. Da, da, da,
I'm
da,
not
da.
that pop cultured.
No,
I know what the
Love
Love
Boat.
Boat is, but I don't know what the actual theme song is. But I
I
will
don't
say
know what the hell I'm singing. It might
this
be
is a
The
good
Love Boat.
episode because you see humanity out of Crowley. Probably very rarely do you see Crowley have emotions.
Anger for the right reason.
Right. And the fact that they were going to send his son to die. And then it brings into the whole thing that, yeah, Rowena was never a good mom to Crowley. She did not like Crowley at all. And it
No,
brings
she
in a lot of those
created a
family dynamics.
monster. I mean, it's nature versus nurture. I think you need two to become truly evil,
Right.
but
But at the same time, it's one of those, hey, he's not happy here. He's willing to go back to his time and kind of save everybody else. And so is it selfish of you to want to keep him here? Or do you want to send him back and, live the fate that was supposed to be lived out and all that kind of stuff, which brings up a lot of really good moral dilemmas as
yeah,
well.
and it's interesting too because it's like I feel like there's levels of like I don't know that there's anything I would sacrifice my kids for.
Well, it does make you think, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
what if you were in this situation, demon, king of hell or whatever else? Would you sacrifice your kid for any reason? What if your kid wanted to die? Or,
Well, and I don't want to spoil Fantastic Four, but
but
I
at
will
the
say
same
there's
time, yeah.
connections here. So we're not viewing Crowley. I feel like I don't think Crowley did anything evil in
I
this.
don't think he was wrong at all. I really don't. As a
I
parent,
agree.
I can absolutely put myself in his shoes and sympathize because honestly, I probably would be in the same mindset. It's a selfish. When it comes to your child, you're probably going to have selfish aspects about you, and it's not being selfish. It's your child. And
Right.
I don't think he
There's
was wrong at
things
all.
you would sacrifice yourself for
I
before you
would sacrifice
sacrifice your
Mary any
child
day of the
for.
week.
But I don't know if Crowley would sacrifice himself over Gavin. but I know that
That's a good
he's
point too, yeah.
shown love enough for Gavin that he never had before. They've
Yeah, because
pumped
when we
him full of
first
that
met, remember,
human
he
blood.
didn't like he was cold. He was
Yeah.
cold-blooded.
Oh, yeah, it was a
He
different
did
actor.
not
Yeah, when they
give a
were gonna burn
yeah.
his bones. That's
Yeah,
right.
they go there to burn his bones to
But
hold
Gavin looked
Crowley
pretty evil
hostage and
then too. They
everything.
definitely
Yeah,
yeah.
and so this
Oh,
is
for
very much
Bobby's soul.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, how look at me pulling out the deep.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Who would
Look
have
at
thought?
me.
Not me.
It is good. It is a good point, which takes us now to The Raid. Great movie, by the way. Anyways, we pick right up. Mary's still trying to defend herself. Why she's working with the British Men and Letters.
Oh, there's something about Mary.
She then comes clean about the Ramil case. Dean's response is, Cass almost died. Sam responds, 100 died. When Mary says she still sees him die every night, Dean says, good.
That was dark, man. That was dark.
Finally, someone's given her a taste of her own medicine. They basically
Mhm.
tell Mary to get out. Back at the British Men of Letter headquarters, London still wants Sam and Dean as well. Dean takes off for a drink. Sam sees a text from Mary and goes to meet up with her. Mary shows Sam what they're working with, while Ketch goes and finds Dean at the bunker. Dean lets him in solely because he needs liquor. Ketch has some scotch. Two of them go on a quick hunt. Everything's kosher, right? As the Brits explain how they've taken out a ton of vampires, the Alpha then shows up with a couple survivors. Ketch finds one of the survivors. She tells them that the other vampires went to the British compound to hunt the hunters. Knowing Mary was there, Dean and Ketch go immediately. Mick and Sam end up pulling a sleight of hand, getting a bullet in the Colt, taking out the Alpha Vamp. Dean forgives Mary in the end. Sam decides to join the British Men of Letters because the Alpha Vampire is dead and they're changing the world. Sam says he needs time with Dean. First of all, you remember, what was it, MegaCon or one of those where we saw the Alpha Vamp?
Oh, it was Utah.
Oh, it was Utah. I didn't recognize him even seeing him now, and I thought he had such a bigger. So I hadn't watched the show yet in Utah. When you took, we saw the picture, we saw him with the car and everything.
And he was dressed in character. He had the
Yeah.
nails and everything.
In my
Yeah.
head, I was like, oh, this guy probably plays a really big role in the show. This guy's barely in the freaking show.
He's in like 3 episodes, maybe. I don't know.
And he is, listen, I don't fault him at all, but it's really funny now knowing who he is. Like, this dude is riding that high at these Comic Cons.
Well, that's why he was in character, just chilling by Baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. And even watching this, I was like, wait, that's it from him? I thought there was, wait, what? And so it's kind of funny.
I did really like this though, because I liked seeing the different. For one, it was funny when Ketch showed up and Dean's like, "How the hell do you know where we were?" He's like, "It's a Men of Letters bunker. We're Men of Letters," and he's like,
Hey,
"Oh,
idiot.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah."
good point. All right, fair.
I loved seeing Mick and Sam work together with the sleight of hand. I thought that was fantastic.
I don't mind
because,
Mick. Mick is
no,
fine.
yes, Mick is just a product of we learn more about. I think we learn
Corporate,
more about
kind
Mick
of. We definitely do. Yeah.
soon. But I really liked that, and I loved Sam's decision to join. Like, it made sense. He's like, "Look, I think you guys are pieces of crap, and came at us the wrong way and tortured me and whatnot.
We could have
But
started off way better than this.
we took out an alpha together, and I think that is huge for them. And I think it's really cool too, because you see like Mary seeing this alpha vamp show up, who personally knows Sam." Which I
Yeah.
feel like she's got to be like, she was raised a hunter,
Like,
but like her
what?
sons have like taken it to a next level.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But and I also like that, like, as horrible as a person as Catches and as good as a heart Dean has, they do have similarities.
They do, and I liked their time together having those drinks in the bunker, because you kind of see that it's just two dudes who have been through kind of a lot, and they're kind of
But
products of
Dean,
their environment at the same time.
yes,
You know?
but Dean kept his heart and his soul, and Ketch kept neither.
Oh yeah, God, Ketch is still a piece of crap for everything he does, but you are correct though. It's those character expositions that they do really well in this show. For example, I like when they switch up and split the boys apart at certain times. For example, in this, seeing the way they operate without one another and with somebody else who they might not get along with, I think brings out a lot of their character and allows for them all to shine at the same time. And this episode was a good example of that. And, I always do enjoy Mick, but I still don't like Mary. God dang it. Why they didn't have to forgive her. I'm glad Dean was mean to her.
Yes.
Because she needs to hear it at the same time, because I think she's trying to catch up on a lot, but she's also making some really bonehead decisions.
Yeah, some very selfish decisions.
Yeah.
And it, but I feel like her coming back and being so terrible gave us some amazing scenes with Dean and like just showcasing his acting in a way that we might not have gotten to see before. Like
It brings a lot of emotion out of him. Yeah.
yeah, like the argument when they're going back and forth and he's like, you're a mom or whatever. And she's like, I'm more than a mom and you're not a child. And his response is, I never was.
No,
It's
because
like,
he grew up in like, you don't know
yeah.
me. I grew up in this shit.
And
Like,
she doesn't know what John became. And then he calls her Mary. And it
yeah.
was like, oh, the hate in his eyes. And I felt like it was warranted. And you could see her heart, but like, she loves these boys. She does love them. I'm not
He
questioning that.
does. No, I
I
never
think it's
once
just
questioned her love for them at
hard.
all.
It's like if, let's say, one day Brielle's 6 months old and Kaylee's 5 and I come back and they're grown. Like that would be weird. I'm not
It
gonna
would be
lie.
very weird because you don't know them.
Right.
There's so much of their life and you're trying to fit into this lifestyle, but at the same time, it's not like you're coming into a lifestyle that's, oh, we go work a 9 to 5, we'll catch up over some
Right.
coffee and some dinner. It's no, we are fighting demons and
Well,
vampires
and
and
if I found
werewolves.
out,
And
Josh raised them the opposite of how I wanted, like if I found out that I
she got out
died
of that life
and they
and
didn't get to celebrate Christmas for the next 20 years, oh, I would be pissed.
or Halloween or yeah, any of those,
Right.
right?
Josh would
Yeah.
still, well, I mean, no, Josh was raised Jewish, so he wasn't raised with
Well,
Christmas,
I know.
but
I'm just saying, like that.
was raised with
You're right.
Halloween. Like if I found out he didn't put the giant Jack Skellington in the front yard
You
every
know, they
year
don't
while I
sell
was
that
dead.
anymore. We were trying to look for it and buy it this year. They don't sell anymore. That they have a really cool Maleficent, which I don't. It's cool looking, but I just don't care about Maleficent overall. But yeah, we were trying to find the Jack Skellington. They don't sell it anymore.
They don't have anything good. Spirits aren't even open yet. Although if you
Oh,
have a
next week.
Joanne Fabrics in your area, that will probably be where Spirit is. Two of our
No,
Joannes are becoming Spirits.
actually, they are. I have to look. I saw the advertisement for the one opening up in Williamsburg. I have to look because yeah,
I
Joanne's
checked
just
today.
they open
Yeah.
next week. I want to say or something like that.
It
It
just said
means I
opening
need to go back to
soon.
Costco and get the giant
I
skeleton
don't
that
know
was going
why
to.
I'm looking. I
Anyways,
don't need to go.
I don't know why I'm looking either, but here we are, right? We've been looking at all the Disney merch, and Disney has back to back years of fire Halloween merch. And we're both like, oh, shoot. And then, of course, she's reminding me I'm going down there right around Halloween. I'm like, yeah, but I don't need to get
You could
anything.
bring
But
an extra suitcase.
oh, I will bring my big suitcase because I get 2 bags for free on Spirit, nonetheless, because I'm
Ah,
military. So that's kind of nice. But what am I?
right.
I don't know. We are. Oh God, I can't wait to maybe check out the bar in Disney Springs. Anyways,
Erica actually messaged me that bar like right after I had messaged you. I'm like, I already told Matt about it.
oh, that's gonna
So
be so.
anybody who's coming to Orlando for
Yeah,
Halloween or Christmas, the Indiana Jones bar at Disney Springs they've done Christmas decorations the last few years, and it's all just appetizers and drinks, but it's delicious and it's so fun themed. And this year is the first year they're doing Halloween too. So
well, we are coming down for Christmas. We told the kids about the cruise too, so the kids know. But yeah, we are coming down around Christmas time as well. Both we're gonna hang before and then catch the cruise and hang out. But anyway, I'm getting off topic now. I'm thinking about
we
all
have
these.
one fun fact from this episode.
We do, which is what?
The hunter from Louisiana is wearing a shirt from Goudry's, Guidrys.
Benny!
That's the restaurant Benny worked at.
I miss Benny every day.
We all
Every
miss
day,
Benny.
not a day goes by that I don't miss Benny.
So somebody had posted a clip of Jensen as Soldier Boy, and he was, when he's in the place with Jack Quaid, and he's like talking about like, missing. He's talking about Bill Cosby, and dads walk around like that now, and they give him Benny's. He's like, man, I really miss Benny's. And then somebody in the comments was like, every Supernatural fan thinking of Benny.
I know. Oh my
So that was
God.
cute. That was random. All right, so episode
All right,
15. I
somewhere
think this
between
one.
heaven and hell, some teenagers are camping until the boy gets attacked by a hellhound. Of course, nobody believes the girlfriend because you can't see these hellhounds without cool glasses. Cut to the same Sam and Dean coming home from a hunt covered in monster guts, holding Lucille. To which
What?
Dean says,
Lucille?
"Yeah, Dad loved this thing." Wink, wink, nudge,
Aw,
nudge. They
adorable.
immediately get another case because Sam is getting intel from the Brits, but Dean does not know this yet. He just heads off on another hunt. Castiel continues his hunt for Kelly, sees footage of Kelly and the Angels. You silly
Kelly
goose.
and the Angels. I don't proofread these. Sorry.
I even said on our socials today, if our posts on social media start having proper spelling, and Dean Winchester pictures, it's Lauren, but
Yes.
now I need to take away the proper spelling aspect.
Well, I tried to double check my post there, but this is just so much
I
work to
know.
rewatch these episodes fast forward that I do not go back and read
Castiel
them.
sees yellow eyes. Dagon. Then another angel then shows up. It's Black Noir. He tells Cass, surprise, mother freaker. He can come back to heaven if he tracks down Kelly for them. That was
It's not actually Black Noir. It's the actor
racist.
who plays Black Noir.
I know. The Hellhound is now stalking the girlfriend. The boys lie to her, of course, and she's insistent it wasn't a bear. Of course, they don't know just yet that she is being
Gaslighting her.
stalked. Yeah, how rude.
I'm so
They
glad
leave-
we learned that term.
I know. It explains my childhood so much, man. The boys leave, the Hellhound attacks. That's when they bust back in. They save the day. So now that they have to tell her the truth, she's certain her boyfriend did not sell his soul, so they can call Crowley again. Still mad about Gavin. However, he asks his demons about his hounds, to which they tell him that Ramsey got out. Crowley shows right up. We then learn that Ramsey is only loyal to Lucifer because he saved her. They then learn that Gwen hit the dog with an axe when it attacked, and Ramsey holds a grudge. So they got to kill the Hellhound. Gwen stays with Sam and Baby, and Dean and Crowley go to the woods. A hunting Crowley and Dean go. Yeah, Dean thanks Crowley for all the help he's given lately. The dog finds Gwen and Sam stabs it. Gwen hugs Crowley and says thank you. Sam also says thank you, so then Crowley just vanishes. And while Crowley is gone, his demons let Lucifer free. Fortunately for Crowley, he had planned ahead for that. We wrap up this episode with Castiel catching the boys up on Kelly. Sam comes clean about working with the Brits. Dean agrees to jump on board too. He doesn't trust them, but they do get results.
Because that's how Sam was getting all these cases, was the Brits were sending the cases. So
man.
Lucille. So this was right around when Jeffrey Dean Morgan started playing Negan, and of course his bat and barbed wire is named Lucille. And when that showed up, because I was a Walking Dead fan first, but way before this,
I was too, obviously.
Like, Negan was cast before I watched Supernatural. So when I got to this episode, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Yeah. Because I didn't even watch this season.
I knew all about The Walking Dead and everything long before I ever watched Supernatural. Like I went through I read all the books, I fell off the show, but obviously we know Lucille. And it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
And Lucille's still relevant in Dead City. That was an amazing crossover. I think the first season I watched live was 13. So we're almost to where I started watching live. But nice. I mean, that was so cute. You have the CW connected to The Walking Dead in that way.
You do.
Amazing. What other fun facts do we have?
I love this because it's me and you wouldn't love this, but Mick is saved in Sam's phone as Frodo and in Mary as hobbits. Hello, hilarious. Cass's undercover name in this is Solange, which is Beyonce's sister's name. Yes.
He's trying.
Dean calls Crowley Peaches. Peaches is the devil in Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life. You're supposed to sing Rocco. I put sing it. He starts singing Peaches.
I was thinking
Rocco's Modern Life.
I love Rocco's Modern Life first and foremost. Second
of all,
the
Peaches song too.
I like the Peaches song.
Millions of peaches.
Peaches for me.
For free. Millions of peaches. Yeah.
This one is Crowley is again a real one. He doesn't want to help them because he's pissed, but he does anyways because he loves them, and I love that he loves them.
There's a couple scenes in this too that are like, I feel like so much funny stuff in Supernatural is so underrated. So while Dean's on the phone with Crowley, and he's like, what do you mean the dog got loose? And he's like, have the kennel guards killed. And Sam and the other girl are looking at Dean while he's listening to like, have the kennel guards killed. And Dean does the like, rolls his eyes and does like the yapping thing, like, oh, Crowley just keeps talking. Okay. And they also have the adorable scene where Dean and Crowley are going back and forth of like, I feel like we've rubbed off on you and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like sweet, but then like Crowley makes a comment like, oh, I rubbed all over you. And then Dean's like, ugh. And it was just really funny because it felt like a real, like they were having like a sweet moment, but these are two guys that are not capable of having a sweet moment. So like they appropriately turned it into a dirty joke. I thought it was great.
No. It's great. It's good. I'm just saying, man. Anytime Crowley's in and we get some Dean and we get some Crowley again, they're not doing threesomes this time, but it's still good.
And Sam actually shows appreciation for Crowley. I feel like that's the
one of the first times. Yes. Actually, it might be the only time, really. You're right. Where he says thank you to Crowley because he hates Crowley, deservedly, because they went through some stuff.
Mhm.
But he
He's
swallows his
starting to
pride.
recognize the shit Crowley has done for them.
He saved those boys more than Chuck ever has and will.
Well, yeah. Chuck only saved him for his own entertainment. So,
Well,
episode
right.
16, Ladies Drink Free. Two
Ooh.
siblings walk on a road near woods. This sounds like the beginning of a joke. As the sister tries to head back to the bar and the brother checks out the woods, the sister gets attacked and then the brother gets knocked out. The girl ends up in the hospital and the brother's heart was taken, so clearly he ends up in the morgue. Mick gives the boys the case. However, Mick wants to come with because he wants to learn more boots on the ground stuff. While en route to the case, they tell Mick about Garth, to which he's surprised. Like, what? You have a friend who's a werewolf? No. So they pull up to a 3-star hotel, not a motel. It's on the Brits. Of course, Dean acts like, ugh, this place is ugh, but he's very excited. As the boys talk to the mom, they learn a young blonde with a bad attitude came to ask her some questions. So this is the mom of the girl that was in the hospital and the son that died. Mick checks on the daughter, and she has unfortunately been bit. However, he does not tell the boys this. Mick meets Claire, and they all catch up. Mick then goes to the hospital to kill the daughter. However, right as she turns, she attacks him, and then Mick does stab
Uh,
her with silver in the heart, and she dies. But for a second, he looked like he didn't want to do that. We then hear the scream of the mother, which kudos to that actress because she will bring tears to your
she had some pipes
heart.
too, man.
You can like feel the cry of that mother who already lost one kid and now, I mean, just lose one. Like you could hear
I
the
can't even
sadness.
imagine. Yeah, Jesus.
So the boys are still confused because facts aren't adding up because Mick is lying. So they show up at the hospital the next day. Mick, of course, still stays quiet as the boys and Claire want to know how she healed and is now dead. It doesn't make sense. The real question now is who is turning girls but not killing them in this town? Claire decides she's going to go talk to some people in the town and get some info because she's younger than Sam, who's super old, even though she lied to Jody about hunting. Dean figures out Mick is lying because he doesn't trust them since they, quote, pal around with demons and witches, end quote. Claire gets mad at Sam for calling her out on her lies to Jody and then storms off. And of course, she gets attacked and bit by a werewolf. She's like, stop treating me like a child. And Sam goes, stop acting like
And
one.
of course.
Sam was doing a good job parenting her in that moment. I actually think Sam did a good job. But okay, so
Yes, I
obviously she gets
agree.
attacked. So Sam finds her, brings her back to the hotel where Mick also is. The boys tell Mick to back off. And they try to tell Claire she can live with this. It's manageable, but she's not buying it. And she doesn't want to hurt anyone. She's like, please just kill me. I don't want to be the reason anybody dies. So Sam brings up that there was a mice study about curing werewolves before they turned and they fed. Claire wants to try, but they need blood from the werewolf that bit her. The boys leave Mick to actually babysit Claire. And of course, she begs him to kill her. And Sam's like, you really want to leave him? And we're like, if he kills her, like he has us to answer to. So they're like, yeah, I
Yeah,
trust, Dean's like, I trust Mick because he knows what the repercussions will be if she's
because
not okay.
we'll freaking kill him.
So the werewolf who bit her does show up and takes Claire. Mick puts a tracker in her pocket, though. So the werewolf ties Claire up,
Smart.
tries to force her to
Smart.
feed, and tells her he's a good guy. If somebody's telling you they're a good guy, they might not be the best.
Yeah.
Enter the boys and Mick kills the werewolf, and Claire does turn. However, they're able to stab her with the cure, and it does work. And Mick calls her a walking miracle. The boys decide to give Mick a second chance.
Which, okay, Mick wasn't the best in this, but he messed up. And they gave him a second chance, which he actually didn't ruin, and I'm okay with this. He made a mistake. I see where Mick was coming from in this episode. He didn't go about it all the right way,
He's trying to
but he
balance
wasn't
the
terrible.
British mental letters
Yeah, I mean,
training
he's got
with
things
how
to
much
do.
he should trust them. Yeah. Like he's not he hasn't been watching them for 12 seasons like we have. Like he doesn't trust them yet. He doesn't know them.
How do you know? He's been there since day 2. What are you talking about?
Chuck sent him his DVDs. I do like when what is it? Dean's like, what does he know about hunting? Like you gotta put on he even says like you gotta put on a flannel.
But to be
Adorable.
fair with Mick, yeah, he's more corporate than Hunter, but I do like that Sam and Dean's aliases are McVie and Fleetwood from Fleetwood and Mac. Mick shows up as the doctor and his name is Doctor. And
Dr.
Buckingham is also
Buckingham.
from Fleetwood. Yes. Dr. Buckingham, excuse me, you're right. Claire's alias is from the Beverly Cleary books, Beatrice Quimby. I do know that
Adorable.
one. Fun fact. And then we get a Dazed and Confused line, them high school girls. Gross.
I keep getting older, but they stay
Um,
the same age.
hiccuping
I
over
thought
here.
that line was funny when I was a high school girl.
Oh yeah, I mean
Now
it's
I
funny.
find it
And now it's
creepy.
like, oh god. And it's I this was good because there's stakes involved, right? Haha, stakes. But Claire is at risk, and you can see how much they care for Claire and everything in that. And then we get, Jody back and everything too. It's a fun time getting them back.
It is fun. I think this is a good season. And it's
I
so
do too,
funny, you still
except for
see
the
people,
fact I
"Oh,
hate British mail letters.
you know, you're supposed to hate the British Mental Letters. I feel like that's a good
You are. They
villain
built
if
up a
you
really
hate
good villain.
them.
You're right. I was just thinking that actually.
And, I've heard people make comments like, "Oh, it's really funny that season 12, the main villain are just British people," which, yeah, when you think about it, that is kind of freaking
But they do a great
hilarious.
job because, again, what does Dean always say? Humans, they're the worst.
Yeah.
Right? And they really are. And that's a shining example of this in this season is the
And these
British
are
men of letters.
humans that are trained to just everything's black and white, and they're just trained to kill. Like, they kill their childhood best friend to
Yeah.
become this evilness, and which is what we will start. So this is the end of the episodes we're talking
Yeah,
about for
we
part 2
we
of
are
season
covering for
12.
this. We'll finish up season 12
But
next
yeah, the
episode.
last part, season 3, will kick off with finding out how the British Men of Letters become so evil. But it's very interesting because it's like these organizations obviously are very, very old. So they've been trained to deal with monsters. And if you're dealing with monsters in the 1600s, I would like to think it would be different than dealing with monsters in
Oh,
2025, where you can
way
go
much so.
and buy a pig heart or like, you have
You could
more.
buy all the things you need. You have all the tools at your
Right.
disposal
So maybe you're
versus
not
the 1600s. You're like, what the
forced.
hell?
You're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't fight these feral urges because I can't go to Publix and buy." I don't know. Can you buy a cow heart at Publix? I don't know. But I'm
Maybe
sure you have more access to certain
you can
things
go to like
today.
Chinatown. I know that, and you can buy a lot of random stuff there.
Ugh, Erica said she saw shark hearts in Japan, and that made me sad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can buy a lot of random cool stuff. I don't buy
But
these things. I don't actively
so
seek these things out, so I have no
I
idea where
would
the market is.
assume being a vampire in the 21st century would be easier than being a vampire in any century before.
Unless maybe the sheep were more abundant back then. Who knows?
I don't know. Also, you
Look,
can
man, I don't know
travel
what's
more
the
so.
study.
You can choose to live away
You
from
didn't have
people
to
or
like
near
show your
people.
passport and stuff when you went places. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. So that'd be easier. I don't know.
Listen, I'm not an expert. I'm not gonna pretend I am. But what I will tell you is that the next time we pick back up, it will be the rest of the season of season 12, to which then we've got 3 seasons left. We are gonna do this. I promise you.
We
And
won't do it by September 13th,
probably
but we're
not by the
doing it.
time September 13th rolls around because
I think
that's a
Halloween's
month.
a good goal.
Halloween is more
That's a
reasonable.
good and reasonable
And
goal to finish.
Supernatural is still fitting into the Halloween theme, which is this is why I have anxiety because all of a sudden it's the middle of August. Next thing you know, it's September, and then holy crap, it's the holidays already, right? I feel like they just
It's
passed.
the
So it's
holiday season. Oh my
oh my
god.
god, it's both
That
a
just made me
blessing and a
happy and
curse, man.
sad. I'm like, I'm not
Well, it's
ready,
like a
but oh,
blessing
I'm
because it's
so
one day
ready.
closer to me getting to be able to work for Disney or something. But then also,
Soon we gotta
goddamn,
put the
I'm
Christ
getting
back
old.
in Christmas.
And
And
I
then
get, but
after,
on the plus side, I get to come down to Florida here pretty soon, which I'm pretty pumped for. I'd love
I
Florida's
can't
like a
wait for
second
The
home to
Boys
me now.
season
So
5.
yeah,
It's
and we have
true.
Jen. I don't know, man.
About
Anyway,
Rising's about to start filming.
go
A lot of
ahead.
stuff going on.
Let us know what your favorite moments from these episodes of Supernatural are, and make sure you follow along. We've got our whole playlist on YouTube if you want to go through that
In
version, or you can
chronological order.
search all of our Supernatural episodes. We've been going through them, and thanks for hanging out with us, man. Never thought we'd be here talking Supernatural, and since we are rolling into the fall. Submissions for MegaCon are going to be opening soon, so you can bet we're going to apply for a Supernatural panel again. Don't know what yet. So if you have ideas of what you would like to see, let us know. Let us know. Peace out, everybody.